little while back, I reviewed the facelift version, or rather went through the facelift version of the N16 Almera brochure. This one is the original version, printed on, well, in February 2000, so this is for the original launch, and it's a lot more substantial in page count than the facelift one. So it's almost like that they were sort of making an effort with this particular brochure. So we start off with a kind of sort of like a generic lifestyle fold-out representation thing, and if we fold it open, we have an Almera across and, well, two sort of bits of A3 effectively, so it's sort of a long picture. This one is a Almera 3-door shown in Tornado Grey with accessory alloy wheels. Those wheels are actually the trapeze style, as we'll find out a bit later. This is basically just another photo. This shows the Almera Sport Plus, shown in intense blue, with the rear spoiler, as you can see there. Then we get on to the actual nuts and bolts of the brochure itself. And you can see here we've actually got pages, page numbers. There's an index, or contents rather, which is quite interesting. So they actually went into a lot of detail in this particular brochure and really sort of went about just sort of showing how they really wanted the car to succeed. Now this is rather strange, but it will make sense once I open it. Sort of standard foil takeaway container. And that is because once I fold all of these out, one of the Almera's party pieces was this, the affectionately titled curry hook or takeaway hook. That was one of its, well, not a USP, but it was a bit of a selling point, along with all of these possible storage features that you had in the Almera itself. My one doesn't have that spare wheel storage box, unfortunately, although I could probably get one and fit it in there. I do have the flexible boot space. I don't have the briefcase straps or the umbrella storage. Typically these are things that you would probably find on higher spec versions, but it's nice to know that they exist. I also don't have the rear seat armrest. Do have the seat pockets and the door bin bottle holders, and also have the front cup holders, the centre console box, and that secret box. So the big thing about this sort of generation of Almera was the ergonomically designed interior with lots of storage facilities. Oh yes, and sunglasses holder as well. And they made a big thing about it in the manual itself. Also, when we look at the interior, it does look very presentable. Not shown is the robust yet very scratchy plastics around here, 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 and here. They may feel a bit scratchy, but they're actually sort of very hard wearing. But I'm going back to my comparison with the Astra G. The Opel/Vauxhall Astra G had soft touch materials in sort of some of the major touch points, such as the dash, the door top, etc. So you can see that when you sort of compare the two, a little bit more money was spent on the interior materials of the Astra rather than the Almera. And that was, I think, the main problem with the Almera, is it was coming in at Nissan's cost-cutting phase. So some of the things were not quite as good as they should be. And they sort of, I guess, kind of made up for it with quite a sort of an attractive looking interior with a lot of novel storage spaces. It's the one thing that's always impressed me about them, is the novel amount of space that you have for a car of this era. Now we go on to the Almera Sport Plus dashboard. As you can see here, we've got the combined head unit with CD changer and the silver-backed dials, which aren't really that exciting. They're just pretty much identical to the standard cluster, except this is sprayed silver rather than black. Now we have the optional bird's eye satellite navigation, bird view navigation. That would have been available in the summer of 2000 as an optional feature, and that actually takes up the space that would have previously been used by that top storage box. I've never seen one of these actually in existence, nor have I come across one second hand, so I don't know how many were fitted with this particular feature. It would have been very expensive, very likely. Then there's this computer-generated picture of a dinosaur. I don't know what that's about. And then it's sort of more about some of the features: the 12-volt power socket, the dashboard-mounted CD auto changer, which was optional on some models, the radio and remote control, and the radio itself. Now, I didn't actually realise this, but the radio actually has a personalised audio facility, memorises the last settings from his and her ignition keys. Also, for peace of mind, the unit is linked to the immobiliser, etc, etc. But I didn't realise that it would actually sort of customise its previously used settings based on what ignition key was used. That's why they're very difficult to recode to different cars, because they're sort of tied in intrinsically with the car that they originated from. Something else that was certainly sort of pretty good for the time is side airbags, passenger and driver's airbags, and the availability of ISOFIX anchor points, which I think was optional because the Twister certainly doesn't have them, or my Twister doesn't. Something else that mine doesn't have is the Nissan brake assist, but this was sort of a safety feature that was really sort of coming into its own at the time, with the electronic brake force distribution, EBD, which was basically an additional feature added to ABS systems to increase brake force under severe emergency braking. All the standard stuff about lighting, heat and UV glass, etc. And this is interesting. If you install a tow bar, you get an audible signal which will sound when the vehicle is turning left or right. This provides reassurance that the direction indicators of the towed vehicle are working. That's handy. And something about equality, which is sort of good to see. Creating a world where everyone is equal. Nissan engineers discovered that Nissan engineers discovered that in an emergency, many drivers ease off the brakes before coming to a complete standstill, lengthening braking distance. More worrying still, some can't press the pedal hard enough to activate the ABS, so the Nissan brake assist system was developed. This system reduces the effort needed to press the pedal by 29%. It has led to improvements in ABS effectiveness and brought full brake performance within the reach of every driver. That's interesting, and a nice safety feature, I guess. Then we have something about the range of engines, including the diesel engine, 2.2 litre diesel, which went through sort of various states of tune over the time that it was fitted to the car. A little bit about the optional 4-speed automatic, tighter turning circle, the ride and comfort, focusing on that multi-link beam suspension at the rear, which is like a weird convoluted panhard rod, effectively, and something about the something about the silence, increased silence, but only available on SE, SE Plus and Sport. Okay. Then we have something about the personal touch. And we've got Almera SE Plus, shown in Tuscan red, accessorised with side skirt, rear spoilers and 16-inch twist alloy wheels. Actually looks quite nice, if we're going to be perfectly honest. Also get the Nissan rear park system, if you wanted. And also this range of rather snazzy alloy wheels. These look like ones that you could find on the N16 Almera. Those I've seen before. Those are also available on the Micra K11 as well. Those I've never seen in the flesh, but you can also get a similar style on the K11 Micra. Oh, and also front fog lamps as well, if you so desire. Then there's something about more options, like the versatile roof rack and bicycle carrier, the partition rack, CD changer, excitement of excitements, an exhaust finisher, a truck liner, that's quite handy, and an entry guard, Almera written on it, it's rather fun, and a selection of floor mats, which is always nice. Oh, and a tow bar and a child safety seat, all good stuff. Then, and this is very like the K11 brochures that I have, we have a sort of overview of the various different grades, and I've worked out that the Twister is a kind of combination of S spec and SE spec, so it sort of sits here effectively in the middle. It's actually, it would sort of, I don't know, because the Sport gets ABS, so I'd say it would sort of sit between the S and the Sport in terms of sort of level of equipment, levels of equipment. Some of the SE features are also featured on the Twister. You can see here the trapeze style alloy wheels. Those are available on the Sport. And on the Sport Plus you actually get the twist alloy wheels, which are 16-inch rather than 15-inch. There's also the SE Plus, where you get a leather steering wheel and rear electric windows. Oh, and a sunroof. And a 6 CD changer in the dash. Whereas this gets a CD changer compatible audio on the SE. So the actual CD players in the dash actually came a bit later. So otherwise it would have been tape and changer. Now we have the range of trims available. Intrinsic Dusk and Intrinsic Tan for the SE and SE Plus. For the Sport and Sport Plus, Flame in a range of interesting colours, which is actually just one whole colour. And Infusion for the E and S models. But the design of the basic seat doesn't actually change, it just happens to be what it's trimmed in. Then we have the range of available colours and what trim is applicable to which colour, and the range of colours available. That clay is an interesting one. It always sort of looked quite orangey in flesh, and I honestly don't know if any of that colour still exist. The ones that I have seen sort of seem to be quite common is that marine green, the tornado grey, silver, and flame red as well. But some of the more interesting colours unfortunately seem to have disappeared, especially that clay, because it looks a bit brown. So I like it, but I can see other people wouldn't. So sort of nice safe colours like the blues and the greens and the blues, and this sort of bluey grey, and the reds typically did well, as did resale silver. And around this sort of time was the time when silver was really popular for some reason. And then we come to the end and we've got the various specifications. So the torque, brake horsepower figures, etc., so on and so forth. And let's have a look. Pound foot for the 1.5 is 94 pound foot of torque and about 89 brake horsepower. The 1.8, that's 112 brake horsepower and 117 pound foot of torque, which is pretty good. And the diesel, around sort of 80 brake horsepower, but 169 pound foot of torque, and that was actually available across the range. So the S, SE and Sport Plus could get the 2.2 diesel. The 1.5 was available on the E, S and SE, but not on the SE Plus. You could only get, interestingly, the SE Plus as a 5-door hatchback with the 1.8 engine. So you didn't have the option of the 1.5. And also, for some reason, the automatic transmission wasn't available on the 1.5. And then we come to the end where it just talks about the Nissan range, after-sales support, and other stuff of that sort of nature. And then a little bit about heritage. And there we go. And yeah, that's the end of this particular brochure review. Anyway, I'd like to thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.